Good afternoon and welcome to Vocal Intuition Live on LinkedIn, Facebook and YouTube. And welcome to James Bacon, the Body Fix Coach, who's here to chat with me today. How are you doing, James?
I'm doing pretty good, Anne. Yourself?
Yeah, not too bad. It's been a busy morning. I've been recording lots of videos for my online course, but it's one of those jobs. Anyway, so I love your name, the Body Fix Coach. Tell us a bit about that and why and what you do.
Body Fix Coach. Oh, it originally came around. I was having a little bit of a redesign with my business, and I sort of changed over to sort of more the therapy side anyway, helping people with the pain and mobility, flexibility issues. I wasn't quite actually sure what to call the business, so I did a little bit of research with my clients. I was like, I'm thinking of changing my my logo and my name. What should I be called? And then one chap, his name was Rob up in Poole, who I work with online. He was like, "Oh, you're the Body Fix Coach," and I was like, "Okay, I am." And then it just sort of went from there, really. Been in this health and fitness industry. I think this is my 15th year in business, maybe 16.
Wow. Yeah,
it's been quite a long journey, right? So I started off as a personal trainer for a few years, went on to be a strength and conditioning coach, did sports massage, biomechanics, and a load of little other courses in between. So bit of a long journey, but here we are.
Yeah. But you're not just any old physical trainer, are you, James? You do something that's a bit different. So the focus is very much about helping to get people out of pain and helping them to move around more easily. I think so. You often say that movement is medicine, don't you?
I do. Movement is medicine, and when you rest, you rust.
When you rest, you bust. Tell us a bit more about that.
Yeah, movement is medicine. I believe that everyone should be able to keep moving throughout their lives, and the movement or the exercise is the medicine that we need. Our bodies are designed to move, and when we choose not to do anything, when we just sit there, we start to lose that movement, right? So it's just about taking those choices every day that I can move, so I will, and then I will give my body some love.
I think that's really important, especially these days while we're all sitting in front of screens.
Like now.
Like now. But I know this because I've worked with you, and I know that sometimes, we just get to a point where we seize up and then nothing works properly. Because I suppose one thing has a knock-on effect on another, does it? So, for instance,
I mean, the body is very clever, and if we choose to sit down all day, our body will adapt to that position to find the easiest way. So if one thing switches off, like glutes, then something else will have to compensate for that muscle, and then we start to get this chain reaction going up and down the body.
Yeah. I'm certainly familiar with that. I mean, from my point of view as a voice trainer as well, I also know that if the body's not working very well, if it's not moving very well, then the coordination for producing voice will be affected. Yeah. And certainly if you're in pain, because you can't speak or sing well if you're in pain. So all of that is working together. I mean, the voice is a muscular system as well, but it very much hinges on body strength and also on the coordination of the airflow with the voice itself. So it's your whole respiratory system that's involved as well. I mean, you're an absolute expert in the biomechanics of things. And I can say that because, a year ago, I could barely, well, I wouldn't say I could barely walk, but I couldn't walk very far without pain. And now I'm doing so much better from working with you, James. So I just thought I'd throw that in there while we're at it. And it's made a big difference to my freedom of voice as well, because of the reasons I just mentioned. So what's the most common issue, would you say, that you see among your clients?
While everybody's different in the bodies, we do see a lot of similarities down here, especially when they come in for treatments. I think just recently a lot of lower back pain has been quite a big issue for a lot of people. I was talking to one of my clients this morning, and she was saying what a difference 2 weeks had made since she started with me. She was starting to think in her head that it was because she was getting older. And she's like, it's not because I'm getting older. It's just that I've not done the right things for my body. So yeah, there was still a lot of back pain, knee pain, those particular places. But yeah, I think that they're the most common ones that I've had in the last sort of month. So yeah, it's just getting those people moving again and doing the right things. Because the body's quite a complicated system as well. We've got all these different systems inside the body which have to work. So yeah, it's just figuring it out what that root cause is, and then just going from there, really.
I like that about the way you work, actually, James, is that you do go for the root causes. So when anybody goes to see you for the first time, you do a full assessment, don't you, to find out what's going on?
Oh yeah. So I use the overhead squat assessment. So it's just a body weight squat with your arms up over your head. We look at that from all different angles. We do a few modifications, and then from there we can figure out where it's actually coming from. So someone with maybe lower back pain, we're taking through that squat. We see that the folding forward or the shifting to the side. We pop the heels up on the plate. Does that make that disappear? If it does, yes. We know that it's coming from down below, so we address the ankles and the calves, and then see if we can make improvements from there.
I remember that one.
We're not doing one in a while, so we'll do one on the next session.
Yeah. So it's very useful to actually take stock and do that, rather than, I mean, it wouldn't be safe anyway to put somebody into an exercise routine, would it, unless you really knew what was going on. And again, for me, that's very much the same with what I do, and just assessing where people are with their voices, making sure that they're safe, and looking at what the root cause is. Sometimes we don't always know because we can't see things. So that's an interesting question for you, actually, which is, how do you, if you suspect something but you can't necessarily see it, how do you get to the root of it then? Is it trial and error, or is it just working with different things? What do you do?
Yeah, we can come from a certain number of different approaches. With rehab work anyway, we can only try certain things to start investigating more and see if that makes any progression. But yeah, it's just having a look at it from those different angles, and then eventually we will find it. And if we can't, we'll refer out.
Yeah, good idea. I can't see anybody watching us at the moment, unfortunately, but if you are watching us on the recording, do put a few questions and comments in for us. Or if you're joining us just now, then we are here for you, so just pop something in there. Good. So next thing then. So how do you work specifically, for instance, to get somebody out of pain with a lower back problem? What would you do? And it probably is, how long is a piece of string, but never mind.
So trying to figure out where that's coming from is the number one priority. And then some people, they've got lower back pain, they may not have been active for a long time, so we can take that sort of history of what they've actually been doing in the last 6 to 12 months. And maybe they come in and they can't do a squat, so we can modify that a little bit, get them to sit on a chair and stand up again from there. But yeah, it's just trying to figure out what the best approach is for that person moving forward. A lot of my clients, they're already pretty active. To be fair, they're doing some sort of sport, or they're quite active in their personal lives, do a lot of walking, etc. So we have to figure out what that activity is, and then figure out what's not working in the body. So for the lower back pain, I say it could be a number of things. Glutes can be weak, inactive. The core and the abdominals aren't quite strong enough. They might have something like tight hamstrings, short hip flexors. So it's just figuring it out as a whole, really, and having a look at it from all the different angles.
Good. So what would you say to people who just decide to go to the gym out of the blue and start exercising? What sorts of things do they need to look out for?
Yeah, so you see this a lot in January, right?
Yeah, an awful lot in January, yeah.
All in, and then they stop a few months later because they've gone too far too soon. So if you're quite new to exercise, I would say just have a go on a few different machines, just get yourself used to the movements. If you are struggling, ask for some help. There's plenty of personal trainers that can help you with any sort of exercises that you want to have a go at. So yeah, just little and often is probably my best approach to somebody new. And then see how your body reacts. If you find that you can't walk for 3 days after, then you probably know you've done a little bit too much.
Yeah, because it's like you have to give yourself a gradient, don't you? You have to work up gradually to these things.
Yeah.
Otherwise, you're going to do more damage than you maybe even have in the first place.
Absolutely. Sorry.
No, it's all right. And I suppose January is a typical example, isn't it, really? People go, right, this is it. I'm going to be healthy. I'm going to lose weight. I'm going to do this, that, and the other. And then they do too much for a week and a half, and then they give up.
Absolutely. So, yeah, it's maybe addressing the body before you go into that exercise. If you are feeling aches and pains and something doesn't quite feel right, maybe get that looked at before you start that exercise program.
Yeah. Can you think of an example of somebody? Well, there's me, obviously, but somebody else that you've helped to get out of pain recently. You don't need to say who they are, obviously, but just give us some pointers as to what stages you went through.
Yeah, so I've typically got a little process anyway. So they'll come in for a movement assessment. We'll address any rehab issues and then try and progress them onto some strength training to reinforce everything that's gone through. So I've had quite a few recently. I've had quite a busy month, and so I think we're talking about 27 new clients in the last 6 weeks.
Of course, yeah, because you're in your own place now, aren't you, in Taton Hill? And
yeah. So I've been working with a few new people recently. So let me think. I'll tell you what, let's go back a little bit further. So we'll talk about Pete. So you know Peter Gregory. So Pete's sit at the desk all day sort of guy because he's a business coach. He was having trouble with his shoulders. He came in for a little bit of massage work. I made him scream a few times, but now he's out of pain. So we're giving some massage work down on the bed and giving him some mobility work to follow at home in his own time when he can fit it in. So yeah, it's just getting that right program in place for people that it's convenient for those to fit into their schedule as well. Make it easy for them.
So it's not just what you do when you come into the gym or into the session, it's what you do away from there as well, isn't it? And changing habits.
That's it. So you're trying to start to bring in those new habits so people will start to get into the habit. Because if you're going from nothing to something straight away, the habit's not there, is it? So you might go all in and I'm not getting anywhere, get frustrated. So just give them a little bit of exercise in between. It starts to become that habit then, and you can start to progress people slowly.
Yeah, and you see better results.
Absolutely.
Yeah, brilliant. So tell us more about the new place that you've got, because this has been quite a big thing for you, hasn't it, over the last few months? And you're offering sports massages now as well, aren't you, as well as personal training? And
yeah, we do sports massage. We did injury rehabilitation down here as well. So down in Taton Hill, Corlinwood Lane, middle of nowhere. But it's a nice building. It's an old cow shed, right? So the cows used to be in here with the troughs downstairs. So there's a gym downstairs, grindhouse, strongman, and I'm upstairs. So I've got 2 therapy rooms upstairs, a bit of a rehab sort of room as well in the back. So yeah, it's going quite well. I've got a couple of people starting to work for me at the end of the month as well.
Fantastic.
So it's going to get busier and busier.
That's it. It's great. It's great to see the business growing, James, I must say. And I can recommend James to any of you who are struggling with mobility or struggling with discomfort or pain issues. It can happen to everybody. And I can also say that it will definitely help you with your voice if you get that sorted out. So just to finish off then, what's your top tip, would you say, for people wanting to improve their mobility?
So I would just say have a look at what you do on a day-to-day basis. Are you predominantly sitting down a lot during the day, or are you quite active? I mean, when we talk about mobility, we're just talking about the joints going through the range of motion, right? So we can only really ever do our current range of motion. So some stretching is always going to help. If you do find yourself at a desk all day, just get up, have a bit of a stretch. I know a lot of people to get up from the desk to go out for a long walk, but is that enough? I don't know. 10,000 steps a day is what we try to aim for, but there's a lot more in the body.
Yeah, I think stretches are really important because it's easy for those muscles to shorten and just get really tight.
Yeah, so a muscle can do a number of different things. So shorten, lengthen, weak, inactive. So there's a lot of different variations. So yeah, just have a look. I mean, there's a lot of resources on stuff like YouTube. I've even got my own channel on there if you want to have a look.
Yeah. Drop us a link in the comments after the session, James, and a contact for you, so that if people who don't know you come across this and they want to get in touch, and then they can. Yeah. Brilliant. Well, okay, and that's about it for this session. But thanks so much, James Bacon, and it's been a great chat. And thank you for joining us, anybody that does. And see you all again soon. Bye for now.